Okay, it started, I think. Yep, okay. Anyway, a few months ago, I drove up St. George for this purpose of talking to Dave about my why. I was trying to really discover that, and Dave, first thing he says, you need to read this 5 Levels of Leadership, and I couldn't put it down. I don't know if you guys had that experience, but I knew for me, specifically, it was the missing link. I didn't know how to lead, seriously. I thought just because I was a 5-star Golden Circle that would be leadership. And as you read the book, you realize position has nothing to do with leadership. And seriously, I was a level 1 leader the whole time. I have never led, actually, based on John Maxwell's. And so then I read the 21 Irrefutable Laws, and then I've signed up for his extensive training, and that's what precipitated this call and this training. As we felt like, as I talked to Dave about it, Dave was like, yeah, let's do it. He was all excited. And if you listen to his his thing today, you got perhaps a little perception about the 5 levels of leadership and how they affected Dave. And so just a couple more things from me, and then we're going to get started here. I'm going to make this go 75 minutes, and there's a rationale behind that. When we get into the 21 Irrefutable Laws, we're going to cover the 21 laws in the next 7 weeks. And that's 3 laws per thing. And I thought, well, we'd spend 15 minutes kind of doing some maybe housekeeping or expression of things, questions, whatever. Maybe go over what you learned in the last week, how you applied the laws, the 5 leadership, how it affected your business. And then we would leave 20 minutes for each of the 3 laws, which would be an hour. And so we limit the calls to an hour and 15 minutes. And I'm going to be religious at that, especially for Chad there on the East Coast. I think all of us are at a decent time zone. And Chad is sacrificing, I'm sure, to stay up that late. And we're so appreciative that he did that. And so I am exactly like you guys on this call as a learner. I am just learning these things. I think JoJo had actually probably used more of these because she's read this book some time ago, and David certainly has. And so in addition to being a learner like each of you, I'm the moderator. I want to just encourage each of you to express yourself. And as I have gone through the moderator role in John Maxwell's training, my main thing is just to not let anybody overpower the call like I tend to do. And so if that's really my role, is to stimulate conversation and thought. And also, I know some people just like always sit back and don't ever say a word. Well, that ain't going to happen on this call. We absolutely have to express yourself, because as a leader, if you read that book, if you don't have influence, you can't lead. And the more you can public speak, the more influence you have. And so the first thing we're going to start here, and I don't really care what order, maybe I'll just, name everyone. I'm going to start with each of you for 2 minutes. Don't go much more than that. Tell everyone who you are, where you live, what a brief story, very brief, and spend a little more time on what you believe you want to get out of John Maxwell's training, because it's really John Maxwell as our teacher. And as we get Dave on other calls, I think he's probably going to be more of a teacher than I ever will be. And we'd dismiss him tonight, and yet that's why he recorded that. And so I'm going to just start with each of you, spend just a few minutes for the group expressing what you want to get out of this and a little bit about your story. And I'm just going to go on the order that they're on my screen. And I'm not going to ask Michelle to do this because she's suffering from that concussion, and I think she would just rather listen right now. We'll pick up her story as the weeks progress, as she hopefully heals and feels better. And so, Lorraine, since you're in my top left screen, I'm going to start with you. And then I'll go in the following order. I'm going to go Lorraine. I'm going to go Jennifer. I'll go JoJo. I'm going to go Mona. Derek, Heather, Cindy, Brittany, and Chad. And then if Linda gets on by then, we'll use her. And so that's kind of the order we're going to go in. So if I can start with you, Lorraine, if you would share just briefly your story, what you want to get out of this. Tell us your vision of leadership, what you want out of this.
Okay, well, I'm Lorraine Claudio, and I'm here in Las Vegas, Nevada. And I've been with Isogenics now for 6 years, and I've just felt like I'm just barely treading water. I'm not being the leader that I envisioned. So with this course, I want to learn how to be a credible leader, a dependable leader, and a confident leader.
Cool. That was only 30 seconds. You want to go a little bit longer? Or that's fine.
Okay, well, so with reading this book, The 5 Levels, I found that, that I'm barely a 1, probably a half of a 1. I used to kind of feel sorry for myself that, oh, you know what, there's not anybody in my circle for leadership close to me that I could resonate with. And then, I would hear Lisa DeMaio and Susan Sly say, it doesn't matter, you just be the leader that you wish you had, So that's my main goal, is be the leader that, I wish that I had to be that credible leader and that dependable leader, and one that I could just kind of trust and bring other people up.
Okay, thanks. The law of magnetism suggests that you're going to, this law of attraction, John Maxwell describes as not in the way that we've heard it. The law of attraction, according to him, is you attract the people who you are. Okay.
Exactly.
Now my screen changed. We lost Jennifer, it looks like. Maybe she'll call back in. So Jojo, would you go next, please? Thanks, Lorraine.
Hi, thanks, Lorraine. Hi, I'm Jojo Bennington, and I have been with Isogenics 10.5 years, and I am excited for this because I think, sometimes we look at, like Dave talked about today, of sort of going into management mode and managing our teams instead of looking at what we're doing. And so I've really been on a growth journey of looking at what I'm doing and what I'm putting in and where my effort is going, and making myself a better leader, taking myself through the steps. And it was interesting as going back through the assessment and, and then assessing each person in my space, right? So my team, and assessing where potentially I am for each person. It was just interesting how at each step I'm probably a different person to everyone. So that was an eye-opening thing for me. But really what I would like to get out of it is to be able to move to really being, a solid level 4 and not slip back constantly. And, with some of the things that have just happened in the team, it's shown me that I really desire to not only make myself better, but help advance people to where they can be that better leader also. So I think it's somewhere that I haven't been totally successful, and so that's really where I want to go with it. So thanks.
Awesome.
Thanks, JoJo.
Jen, we lost you. We'll have you go next, but let me just make a quick comment. Excuse me. JoJo mentions the level 4 leaders, and the reality is all of us, that's what we aspire to be. And if you think about what a level 4 leader is what you've done for other people. And you can you can be at different levels with different people. Like if you just if JoJo signed up somebody tomorrow, she's starting at level 2 with that person. And yet each person that you progress through that, you always have to do it based on those levels. And so even though JoJo is a level 4, she's starting out with a level 2 with a brand new person, although she's already in production mode in level 3. And so she's able to take that brand new person quickly and with integrity to get that person to level 4. Okay, so Jen, if you would go next, and you're on the clock for 2 minutes or less.
Awesome. Sorry, I lost connection. I'm Jen Page from Vegas, baby. I've been with Isogenics for 9 years, and I think this is a missing link. There's 2 pieces that I'm doing right now that go really well together. So the Todd Falcone training, and then this seems to be a really good fit for me right now, because what I noticed that I was lacking on every question that I couldn't answer yes to was the habitual patterns. So my daily habits of doing the work. So and I really notice when I look back at where that changed, it was after my accident. So not feeling well, I didn't do the work, and then the next day goes by, and then there's catch up. And so to be able to get back into the place of the daily habits so that I can be the leader that I want to be in order to be able to lead others and show them by example. So that's really what I got out of this. And my biggest note and takeaway so far was to work on those daily habits so that I could answer yes. And my goal is to be able to work with my team and who I look at as leaders, that I see the potential in them, to be able to support them in understanding the growth so that they can grow as leaders also. It also made me reflect back and look at where in my life have I been a leader. And like Chad was saying, it was really interesting for me because I was like looking at, where's my husband been a leader? Where are my kids? So I saw that reflection for myself, and that's something I've always done. So I don't know if it's just something my parents taught me, but like all my life I've been a leader. So president of my sorority class in college, the captain of my swim team, the leader that brought the coach to Vegas for us, just over and over and over. So it's been interesting to me to see where I can change who I am to be a little better as a leader. Yeah.
I'm just being a good moderator. I appreciate your comment. That's really good. I think we're going to find a lot of people like, oh my gosh. And I'm on that Todd Falcone thing with you also, I noticed. Okay. Thank you, Miss Jen, who is a Crystal exec and a 100-pounder, and we're thankful for her. I think you're up, Mona, actually, if you would go, please.
Absolutely. First of all, thank you. Thank you for including me and inviting me to be a part of this. It took some reflection to figure out why I was here or was invited here. And then I was told, quit thinking, just go. So my expectations from this are really just to have an open heart, an open mind, to learn from each of you guys. And over the 8 weeks, I'll figure out why I'm here. And I will learn a lot. I know I will. I'm a solid 2. I'm confident with my ability to be a solid 2. I'm really good at developing relationships. I develop them quickly. I've been told that for a long time. That's also one of the things that prevents me from getting to level 3 is I fear risking that relationship to the point that I'm not prepared to push other people to go to a place that is going to make me and the other person uncomfortable. So if I can learn how to get out of that uncomfortable place for myself and for my relationships, then I know that that's going to be my next step in growth as a leader. So Mona Sims, currently living in Perfect Land, otherwise known as Southern California.
Woo!
Woo, thank you. And one thing that she said, we're going to talk about either on this call or other calls, and that is identifying your level 4 leaders. And if you think about that for a minute, as Mona said, she don't want to sever those ties. But you never sever ties. You just spend the time with level 4 leaders, and you develop them as to the point they want to be developed. And so, actually, I'm going to ask a question about that as we go. Okay, I thank you, Mona. I just appreciate that whole family of theirs, actually. Derek, I believe that you are next, my friend, from St. George, Utah.
Well, Mike pretty much just introduced myself, so I don't have to worry about that part. No, I am extremely excited to be part of this little group. Kind of like Mona, I was a little bit curious, but honored to be involved with this. And really, from reading the book, I've gotten really, really excited just because, like what you said earlier, Mike, is it's kind of what brought that missing link. For me, it's brought a really great sense of clarity, of direction, and how to work with people in a way. I know I've always had natural leadership abilities, and so I'm really excited with this group and with the book to really hone that in and to apply it into network marketing, which is kind of a new endeavor to try and figure out how to work with leadership. So this book is amazing, and I'm excited to work with all of you. So that's kind of my expectation, is just to develop myself into my absolute fullest potential and to continue to grow from there and help other people along the way. So,
I appreciate that, Derek. And it is, if you really read what level 4 is, it's like, and even John Maxwell, and I guess putting it in context with being a network marketer, it's all about building other people. At the same time, we never stop being a network marketer. That's why leadership is like, it's not easy. I mean, people that are on that stage that, I know the effort that JoJo's put in things far more than I ever did. And it's like, it's a no-brainer why, my cycles went recently, and it just opened my eyes. And so I get that. Leadership is not easy. It takes effort. There is no doubt why those people are platinum. They're working their tail off. And so I appreciate Derek's comment with respect to that.
Can you say just one more thing?
Yeah, please.
So I wanted to add on what Mona said too with the whole level 2 thing, because that was right when I was reading the conversion from level 2 to level 3 and level 3 on. That was kind of that clarity of I love the direction that it gives on like the exact steps that you need to do to like progress yourself and to not botch it entirely. So it's like, it's a great guidebook. So I'm just super excited. So.
Great. Okay, Miss Heather, the one that always makes you smile when she's around.
Thank you. I'll unmute myself so you can hear me. First of all, thank you for having me be part of this. I'm very honored. So I'm Heather Crockett. I live in Tokerville, Utah, which is about half an hour from St. George. Hi, Derek. And I've been with Isogenics for 6 months, and I love it. I have resisted big time being a leader, even though I already was one, and I knew I was supposed to be one, and I've led unintentionally in just about every area of my life, but never because I wanted to like step up and be in that leadership role. And so doing the part where you have to go and ask people where you're at, that's been good, because I've asked some of my team members and the people that I personally enrolled, I'm like, okay, want to know what level of leader I would be at. And so they filled that out for me. And I found that I was a lot harder on myself than they were. So it was a good eye opener for me. And the biggest thing for me that I desire to get out of this, and my intention, is to become the leader that attracts level 4 leaders to my team. That is what I want to be. And I was talking to my husband about it earlier. I said, I am ready. I desire to attract business builders to enroll with me that are level 4 leaders. I want to be that. I want to be training leaders, because the only way I can really make the change I desire to make in this world is with other people leading with that same united vision. Anyhow.
Absolutely. You said it all. We'll just leave it there.
That's exactly.
That was perfect.
That is perfect. Thanks, JoJo, for taking the words out of my mouth. I appreciate that, Heather. Miss Cindy, you're on. Make sure we can see you. Okay.
Go.
Perfect.
Hi. So I'm Cindy Talley, and I'm from Oakhurst, California, which is in the kind of the Central California area. And I've been in Isogenics now for 1 month, I think yesterday. And I resisted. I heard about the business like 2 years ago. And I've been involved with network marketing since I was like 21 years old. So, and I'm 47 now, so a lot. And I think I was in the first one for about 10 years, never really made any money, learned a lot, went on a roller coaster ride up and down, it was very difficult, getting out of that. And then involved in a couple of one other one right after that just turned out to not be good. And then I was involved with another one just even up till now, for the last 10 years, a product I absolutely love. But I just, I find that I work the business and I get halfway to the top and there's like a brain block. I have something that just stops me from being completely successful. And so I got involved with this business because of the leaders who shared it with me. And I saw also with Dave being upline of them and the momentum and just the upline and how important it is to have leaders working with you. Whereas before I felt like I was just trying to lead my leader or, and just I didn't have the help that I needed. So I feel really good about it. I made the $500 bonus last week, so I was very excited.
Awesome.
And Dave seems to believe in me, and I have a couple of potential leaders already in my group. I'm pretty strong level 2, but I just stopped there. And so I just want to find out how I can become level 3 all the way up through level 5, right? It goes 5. And I just would love to learn all that from you guys and what you're doing and how I can help other people do the same thing. I know that's what I need for success. I know that's what I was missing in my other businesses, is just creating other leaders that would do and wanted to do what I wanted to do. So.
Very cool. We're glad that you're here, and Dave invited you because he saw level 4 potential in you. That's really why all of us are here. Thank you. Mr. Chad, share with us, please.
So I'm used to going last name being Zanotti. Everyone made some really, really good points. And I'm sure everyone is in agreement that we're all kind of thinking along those same lines. And one in particular, Jen, the habits. I want to form new, really good habits, because I know I have some that I'd like to put to the side and replace those with better habits. But our team deserves it. They deserve this knowledge to be trickled down to them, because they're all amazing people. And I know that we can put some things in play that are going to create that momentum that's talked about in the book so that it can just carry on. And Heather hit the nail on the head in that, we want to attract those level 4s, because if you attract a level 4, you're not going to be waiting for them to call you. They're going to be texting you. They're going to want all their questions answered. And then after a couple of weeks, they're going to be good to go. So another note I made here was I didn't realize how comfortable I was until I started picking up this book and reading it and realized that I'm not leading to the degree that I know I can lead. So I want to get to that point where I'm uncomfortable again, so that then I can get comfortable. And then a key point that was made in here, and then I think my 2 minutes will be up. It's not about us. It's about empowering our team to grow.
Amen.
You know, and that's one big thing that I took. So it's exciting stuff. Thank you.
You said some really powerful things, Chad. I appreciate that, because it isn't about us. And I know I'll be the first to say that's the big mistake I made. It was all about me, and it's not. Okay, we have Brittany. You are on with that good-looking young man son of yours.
We're sharing earphones because he wanted to hear. I had told my kids to be quiet. I'm home alone on Sunday nights trying to get 3 kids fed and to bed on time. So I had you off camera for a minute because half of them are walking around in their underwear. So as to keep it appropriate. Anyways, my youngest, I told them all to be quiet, and he came and wanted to hear why I was telling them to be quiet. So I'm Brittany Herline. I am from Vegas. Oh, am I still here? Sorry,
Yep.
My phone's being goofy. From Las Vegas. I've been with Isogenics for about 7 years. And when I talked to Mike earlier this week, I said I felt like I was a 2 moving into a 3 in the leadership, but I had some questions and some pushback in how I felt on that. And then I also thought it was interesting that you can be at one level with somebody, and you're not a solid level all across the board with everybody, which seemed like common sense, but it was interesting when I heard that. And I've agreed with, I really connected with what Mona had said when she felt comfortable with being a level 2 in the relationships, because other businesses I've had and other opportunities, I seem to make relationships and friendships pretty well. It's just moving them into the position to be leaders alongside with me, and not feeling like I'm being pushy or alienating or severing the friendship.
Uh-oh, she might have gotten.
Yeah, she looks frozen.
Well, you're frozen on us, Brett. I'm sorry. When you unfreeze, okay, you froze on us.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. I'll give you 20 seconds more.
Yay! I'm not quite sure where I froze. In what conversation part?
You just blew 10 seconds asking where you froze.
Ah! Okay, well, I'm excited to get to know other people that are growing in different leadership capacities, and we're all in different positions for different leadership positions at different times in our life for different reasons. So it's going to be interesting to learn from each other. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes, it will. And you see, I'm a good moderator. I got my timer here, so keep us on track. I am Mike Lance, 5-star Golden Circle, but level 1 leader. And yet in my head, I'm a level 5 leader. Dave talks about the law of state, and in my law of state, I'm a level 5 leader. I'm willing to pour everything into learning so that I can give back, because I can't get someone to any level above 1 unless I'm there. And so I've started over again building relationships with those that are like I deem my level 4 leaders. And I'm going to move up, because I'm on that Todd Falcone thing. I contacted more people last week and have, I don't know, did you guys see the email from Isogenics where they're offering free membership again? And so today I need to go in and amend my point total, Jen, because I texted 3 people when that showed up, and 2 people said, yep, contact me, let's go. And you see, so I think I'm into that production mode where I know that I haven't been for a long time, and that's what I hope to get out of this. Okay, I've got some questions, and I'm just going to throw it out. I'm going to ask 3 questions, and I don't care which one you answer. I don't care who answers it, but just be respectful and be concise in your answer. One of the things that I will mention, I hear a lot of you, because your brain is going 100 miles an hour, you need to slow down. Be really concise in your answer, because that's part of attracting leaders, is to be a better public speaker. And so we can get that out of this as a side benefit, is just answering questions in a more efficient way. And so here's the 3 questions. 1, will you build relationships differently now? Number 2 is, will this change your recruiting effort? And 3, does this help you now cast a vision? Because when we get into the 21 laws, like the law of the pitcher, the law of magnetism, is all about visioning. And so I'm going to ask those 3 questions again, and anyone can answer. Will you build relationships differently now? Number 2 is, will this change your recruiting effort? And 3, does this help you cast a vision? Anybody can answer.
Mike, I'll go first.
Okay.
On that second point, it will change the way I make relationships. Well, not necessarily the way I make relationships, but the way that I look for leaders.
Okay.
Because I'll be able to notice a level 1 or a 2. And I may even make relationships that have no leadership desire at all. And I'll know to keep them at a friendship versus pursuing the leadership opportunity within Isogenics for them.
Excellent. And you know, think about what just Brett said, is the efficiency of recognizing a product user, not a leader. And instead of trying to drag them along, no, let's do the business, you just recognize they're not level 4 leaders.
Well, and maybe being within the culture of Isogenics for a little while, that will change their vision of where they are in life. And so maybe they'll come out of a product user just in it for the friendships to having the desire to be a leader.
Okay.
But they may not know that when I meet them and build that relationship.
People don't know what they don't know. Derek, you had a chat about qualifying people. You want to expand on that in context with the 3 questions I asked?
Yeah. So something that I've also been learning a lot lately is about qualifying people. And when you're engaging with people and asking them different questions and you're building that relationship, you are going through your head with what Brittany said and putting them in the specific spot on like where you're going to work with them, how much effort you're going to give them, and you're matching them where they're at. So finding those top leaders and then matching their efforts to help them grow through those levels quickly, contrary to just a product user who just needs the help and all of that. Or maybe even disqualifying some people who just are maybe just not going to be the best use of your time because, you know, they may not be that best fit, quote unquote. That makes sense.
Michael?
Is that Cindy?
I just wanted to say that it definitely has helped me cast a vision because I've been, involved before and just, wanted to sponsor people that were lower levels than me. But already I have sponsored my director in my office, and I would have never before. So my vision is that I want to sponsor up and not down, because I've been doing that for too many years and it doesn't work to sponsor down. So I just really want to look for those people who are at least level 2. Level 1, you can still work on those, but at least now I know how to recognize people who want to be successful and people who want to be leaders.
Thank you, Cindy. Let me just throw out I'm gonna ask the 3 questions again, then I'm gonna make a comment, and I'll get maybe some more answers. Will you build relationships differently? How will this change your recruiting effort? Does this help you cast a vision? Now, in light of that, one of the 21 laws is the law of magnetism. And it says that it's not this law of attraction, it's you will attract people as you are. And so if Cindy just says, I don't want to attract level 2 people, I want to attract level 4 people, what does Cindy have to grow to attract level 4 people? Okay, I'll just open it up to anybody.
Right, 5.
What's that?
5.
5, okay.
4. You can check 4s, probably become a 5.
That's the law of the lid, okay. Anybody else want to kind of expand on this whole topic of recruiting, knowing you got the 5 levels?
You can only attract that which you already are. And it's the same way when we look for those qualities in other people, we see qualities in other people that we already possess in ourselves, whether those are good or bad. We can only recognize something in another person if it's already within us. So I want to answer that question really quick, question number 3, because that is actually, so for a long time, my vision has been my family and what my family's vision is going to be and what our vision for our success is. And as soon as I started reading this book, I realized I'm like, oh my heck, this is so much bigger. And while I had been envisioning my team, I had not been visualizing what Isogenics will do for members of my team. And so I didn't assign a name or a face, but I have my 3x5 card right now. I have a vision written out of the success of another person that I've personally enrolled and what that looks like and what it's doing for them in their life. And man, is that powerful. That drags my butt out of bed because it's not about me anymore.
So
it
now
was before, but it was in a sense.
Yeah, Chad.
So Heather, are you saying that on your 3x5 cards, and I dig it if I'm collecting this, on your 3x5 cards, you're writing down, successes of other people and how their life is and what you've helped to create in their life. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's really powerful.
What I've gleaned out of John Maxwell is just a general theme of leadership. It's you don't grow into a position. You're a leader, just helps other people, period, grow. And that's the beautiful thing. And like Heather's 3x5 cards, I one of the things I learned from David, bless his heart, I have my, I don't know if you can see that. Maybe it's backwards. It says I'm a level 5 leader. And so you just have to work towards that, and you apply these laws that are principles. I know for me, these 3 questions are powerful, and that's why I wanted to ask them how that was going to change the way you look at people. Like Heather just had this like, oh my gosh. Because Heather, I had the oh my gosh also. Anybody else have that? And going, I get it. I now know who I'm looking for. Anybody?
Yeah, I did. If I could share real quick.
Yeah, please.
So as I'm reading through, there was a phrase in here, and I don't know exactly where it is, but he said, it's leadership is not about your success. It's about the success of your team. It has nothing to do with your success. And that was just one line in this book. I mean, it was worth every cent. So it was an eye opener for sure.
That's awesome, Chad.
If I can I add a little bit to that?
Yeah. Hey, Jojo, you have permission to add whenever you want.
Yeah. So what's been really powerful to understand is that, we spend a lot of time saying, this isn't about us, this isn't about us, this isn't about, Arcegenics isn't about us, it's about sharing it. All of these things are not about us. And so I think sometimes we take the focus off of who we are and put that on other people. And what this has done is the exact opposite for me, because it's taken my focus sort of off of the picture outside of myself and brought it back to who I am. So even though I hear what you guys are saying, that it's all about someone else, and I totally agree with that I have to grow myself to that space first. And without that growth, nothing else falls into place. Not where I desire it to be, not where my vision is. And so that, for me, is where the work starts, is here. So that's on my environment. As I grow my environment's going to change. Right? So that's, and as we all are at level 4s, then the level 3s are going to show up. The level 4s may show up. That's great. I don't know that I know a whole lot of people that right off the bat are level 4s, but they would be willing to grow to a level 4. They would be willing to see that there's level 4s. And so I think it's all such a growth process that how awesome. And if we just have level 4s fall out of the sky, that would be great.
Well, what did Dave say on his recorded call? And I'll get to you in a sec, Derek.
Yeah, you're good.
If you think about what did Dave say today? I mean, when I first talked to Dave about this, I don't know, a week or so ago, David used the word I like 100 times. He said, this is about me doing what I need to do. I need to grow into level 5. I need to go out and recruit. I need to do all this because, and he says, then the leaders will show up. And that's what we're saying. And I think that's what JoJo is saying is, and then I reminded David that, David, you have given of yourself. I know for me as an example, and I think maybe JoJo and some others, I think JoJo and I probably have, well, maybe Cindy now too, but I've had so much contact with David. David, out of all the leaders, other than JoJo, I can call David and he'll get back to me usually within the day. David has always been there for me. And so while he is like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to go do these things, I'm going to do the Millionaire Podcast, I'm going to do all this to get him to level 5 because he knows that everything will show up. And so I think that's what you're saying, JoJo, if I'm not mistaken.
It is, because if we just get into management mode and go, okay, we're just going to visualize all these amazing people that are coming, the growth has to start here first. And so I think that we're all in agreement with that, right? That it starts with us first and then moves outside. And so not that it's all about us ever, but that growth creates that space for the other people to show up.
Perfect. Derek, you had your hand up.
Yeah, no, I just that was kind of a big thing for me too. And Lexi was, I don't know where she got this from or where I heard it. I know it was from her, but we were having a discussion where she said, wanting things for yourself does not make you selfish, but you are selfish when you want it to not, or like you don't want things for other people. So it's okay to desire things for yourself and to work on yourself and to do all these things for yourself as long as in the process you're building everybody else. And I loved in here, and I don't know if you guys follow Gary Vaynerchuk, but he's one of I love following him and learning from him. And he's huge on self-awareness. And I loved in this book how it talked about how the importance of like how to go like from level 2 where leadership starts happening up from there, self-awareness is the first thing that you work on, which was kind of cool. And with what JoJo was saying too, like it's so true. And for me, like that, like my morning routine, my personal development, everything that I do for myself is sacred to me because it relieves that effort that I have to put towards other people. So as I do all this stuff for me and check myself off of the list, quote unquote, then the rest of the day is so much easier where everything else just falls into place. Like for you, what you were saying, Mike, is, you know, Dave will get back with you within the day because he's already built himself up early in the morning or whatever it may be for his habits, that everything else is just kind of habitual and works great from there. That makes sense.
Absolutely. I'm going to be now specific with the 3 questions. I'm going to narrow it down to one question. because without, well, a thought that I had, I'll just share it really quick and then I'll ask the question, is when we do personal development, when we grow ourselves into that level 4 leader, are you doing that for you or are you doing it for others? It's just a rhetorical question. And if you think about the law of magnetism, you see, and if, it's like Heather said, if I am a level 5 or a level 4 leader, I'm going to attract those people. So if I do personal development to get to level 4, aren't I doing that for other people? If you really think about it, because I can't grow them to there unless I'm there. And so that's the beauty of, and I think that's what JoJo said too. So here's the question. I just want to narrow it down now. How will this change the way you recruit? I mean, are you going to dismiss product users now? No, you're not going to level 4 leader. I don't want you. I mean, how would it change the way you recruit a product user versus maybe that's where you start. How will it change, if any, the way you recruit?
Can I chime in real quick?
Yeah, please.
Just the commitment level. Working with people who have a higher commitment level, and if you're working with someone who has that level of commitment. Product users, absolutely. You still work with your product users. 83% of the companies just using the product. So, but I would say if you're working with someone, you let them know, I'm here for you. This is a simple business, but it's not easy, and just make sure that they have that level of commitment that we need if we're going to have that back and forth type of growth.
Okay, great.
I think if you're, go ahead, Cindy.
Yep.
No, you go ahead.
No, you first.
Okay, I was just going to say, I think for me, it's going to be trying to work on developing a relationship, even if I only have 5 minutes with somebody. I want to find out what is it that they need, what is it that they want, and then from there figure out, are they going to be a product user, or are they more interested in would they be a candidate for the business, and then just try to go from there, because you can point out leaders even just in a short time of talking with them. So.
Okay. Mona, may I ask you the answer to that question? Will it change the way you approach recruiting at all?
No. Honestly, I'm not at this point in time prepared to build relationships differently. I like the way I build relationships.
Okay.
I like people. I like learning about them. I like to help them. I like to uncover different pieces that make up their life. That's the reason why they may be interacting with me. And they may be interacting because they need help, or they may be there to offer me some help. But I'm not prepared to change my path in my relationship building right now.
Okay.
Will it change my recruiting effort? Absolutely. I think that in my recruitment effort, I can absolutely jump up the volume, because at the end of the day, the more people that we talk to, the more people we're given the opportunity to help. So, and in recruitment, it's talking to people. So I think my answer to that is yes, it will change my recruiting effort, because momentum yields momentum.
Okay, awesome. And by the way, Mona's like a recruiting machine, all of you guys. And so don't change that, but she's going to do it more. Lorraine, I haven't heard from you on this answer to this question. How will it change the way you recruit?
Well, the way that I recruit is as I build my relationships, I will cast a vision that yes, this is duplicatable. In my mind, and hopefully I'll be able to relay that information that when I can pinpoint that they are going to be a leader that is duplicatable, just like in this book. There's steps to it, and hopefully they'll be able to cast the vision for their, becoming one of our level 4 leaders.
Great. Okay. I mean, that casting that vision, that is like something that I got out of this big time. I don't know that I ever did that before. I was just, I was a product user, kind of a recruiter, and I'm not now. Just a sec here. I have a question. I had it and I lost it. Okay. At level 3, that's production. And it says what you do for the organization, which obviously is Isogenics. But the question, the concept is, can you be the organization? In other words, when people actually join Isogenics, are they joining like Dave MacArthur, or are they joining Isogenics? I've heard various answers from leaders on that question forever. I know for me personally, I know when they join my role in that. So for each of you, are they joining you, or are they joining Isogenics?
I think at first they're joining me.
Why do you say that, JoJo?
Because I build relationships first, because of my connection piece. I think they join me first, and then they get the belief in the company, and I think that turns back into a different sort of relationship once they believe in the company. Then that gives us a different level of relationship also. So that's my thought. I mean, and it could be exactly the opposite, that they believe in the company first and then realize that of the relationship that I have with the company, and then they build the belief in me. So in every situation will be different, but I would say the majority of the time people are going to join because of the relationship that I build in the beginning.
If
I agree.
all of you agree with that?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I do too. Now, it may be an obvious answer, but I'll ask the question anyway. If people are joining you first, how important it is for you to be a level 4 leader? If they're joining you first and you're stuck down in level 1 where I was, I could tell you the risk of that is you go from 100 cycles to 80 cycles, now down to 25 cycles where I'm at right now. And so it's an interesting blend of the answer to that question, but you have to build you as a leader, and that's what people will aspire to. I am totally convinced of that. Anybody else want to add to that?
I was just going to say that I joined the business just 30 days ago after hearing about it, coming the very next day to see Dave MacArthur, and I went in thinking I'm not going to get involved with this. But and I had to leave early. I was only there the first 30 minutes, so I didn't get to hear anything about the product. All I heard was Dave tell his story, and I saw who he was. And then I walked out of the building, and then John and Kathy followed me out, and I said I have to go because I have to go see a patient. And but I said I'm interested in this business. I said I haven't heard about the product yet, but I don't care about the product. And they said, well, you can get in with. We have 2 different people. You can get in with this group or this group. I said, I want in with Dave. I said, I want him to be my leader. So I have to say 100% I got in this business because I knew who I would be working with.
Thanks, Sandy. She said something really important, and that is the importance of sharing your story. Your authentic, passionate story. I mean, just Dave's 15 minutes today. When I listen to that, he just exudes this, right? And yet, JoJo and Jennifer and I knew Dave when he wasn't that away, and he is now. And so, but each of us can do that. There's no doubt about it.
Why did we follow him in the beginning then? What was the reason that we did it? There was a reason.
I think, I know the answer for me. Anybody else want to answer that? If you follow Dave. Or you just
I didn't. I said no to him first, right? I said no first. And
I said yes for his conviction and passion.
So, I don't know. Jennifer could probably answer better whether it was the relationship that we built together that made her come, or if what that vision was. So there was something there.
It was his conviction and passion.
Well, I know I heard him talk at Maggie's, JoJo, and I remember for the first time thinking that here's a network marketer that didn't twist my arm. He just served me. He just gave me the facts. I didn't even think about the business at the time, and so I guess it was David. Okay. And then the box came, and then I had a, cleanse day, and you want to pull your hair out. And I'm thinking, what did I do this for?
I want to point out what you were saying that about who do you look for that's different. And, the majority of the people that are in this little box, in this little square right now, came into this based on a product experience. They came into this based on wanting to have a different physical experience where their health was concerned and wanted nothing to do with the business. And so, and look at what we've grown from that, and look at the people that we've become from that experience. And who knew that, one of my favorite things to say is we're a personal growth development plan attached to a compensation plan that gives you breakfast, right? So it's, who knew that that's what it was going to be? And you can't help other people see that when you're showing them a shake, right? Because they can't see that potential, but you can see it. That's the vision that you can cast, is helping them understand the potential that's there based on what your experience was. None of us were the people that we were the day we came into this. We're all completely different. Even you, Cindy, just in 30 days, I bet there's differences that you can already see. And so I would never discount where someone's at when they're ready to take their health on.
We have 15 minutes, and I've got other questions here, but they don't feel like I need to ask them. I'm going to just touch on the law of influence. That's one of the 21 laws. And that law of influence is all about trust. That's how you build it. So with respect to the 5 levels of leadership and trust, do any of you have a game plan or a thought process or a vision of you being an influential person?
Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and answer that real quick off the bat. I'm not going to go really deep into this, but I'll just tell you briefly. I was doing the 30-day workbook group with Dave this last go around, and I had called him and I was reading him my vision, and he's like, oh, okay, all right, you done? Yeah. Okay, I'm going to be your vocal coach now. I know you have more in you. And so I took my time. I went out to the car and I dug really, really deep. And I looked 20 years out. And it was like 20 years from now, and someone was interviewing me. I was being interviewed 20 years from now. And what was that like? And let me tell you, that vision is huge. The millions of people on my team that their lives have been changed because I stepped up to the plate and I let out. Because I was willing to be that level of leader. This is before 5 levels of leadership. This is before. It was just innately so ingrained in me that I know it's my path. I have to be this. So this is just that next step in achieving that vision.
Mm-hmm. Ooh. Can you guys feel Heather's passion in her voice?
Tingles up in my spine, man.
Anyone else want to match that energy? Where do you in this whole process?
Yeah, I think that it's absolutely essential that we keep growing and have the passion that Heather has. That's one thing that I need to do, is I need to up my passion and excitement about the the leadership and the growth that can come through our team and through Isogenics and the whole bit. But it's vital because I can't remember which chapter it was, but it talked about how you will backpedal if you don't keep progressing. And yeah, that's it.
Awesome. Thank you, Lorraine. Mama Lorraine, we call her. She cares about everybody. Anybody else about that? Okay, well, you guys are making this hard. We could probably end this early. I just want to add some thoughts. And Jojo, I probably need you to help out here a little bit. When I am so grateful for David. In my journey the last, several months, it's been extremely emotional for me. I'm not going to go into detail about that. And I've had more aha moments in the last 4 months than I had in 30 years because of the purposeful nature of what I was trying to overcome and solve. And David, when I went up to talk to him, and he intuitively gave me the charge to read the 5 levels, and he pleasantly got in my face, like he probably did with Heather. Would that be an accurate statement, Heather? Is that he pleasantly got in your face? And I am so grateful for that, because that has opened up so much. I have shed so many layers of this onion off of me. In fact, Thursday in my home, I'm gonna present what I hope to be a really eye-opener method that's going to help you uncover the unconscious challenges, obstacles that you don't even know you have. I know I didn't have them. And so when I was introduced to John Maxwell, it just was such a blessing to me. And for the first time, like many of you expressed here, I could see now, like even laying in bed yesterday morning, I could just see this thing exploding. And as JoJo and Dave and I had, discussed putting this thing together, and Dave and I started, and JoJo wasn't available when Dave called me, and we didn't do a 3-way at the time. And then we chose people to invite on this first one. And it was gut-wrenching because we had to limit it so that there'd be a lot of, conversation. There's other worthy level 4 leaders that I know that we have in our organization, and yet we started with this group, because each of you we've seen already. I've seen it. Probably you've been a better leader than I have been, and yet I see level 4 in each of you. I see you wanting to give back, to give to other people. And as you step into that, just like Heather just said, I really appreciated that. She stepped into that. I've seen JoJo over the last 10.5 years, because she and her sister enrolled me just a few days before. I mean, I don't know, I was April or February 6th. And I don't know, she was probably like February 1st or something. So we've been in this thing, and I mean, JoJo and I used to buck heads. I mean, we were not on the right plane, but I've seen her grow. I've seen David grow, and I know that each of you can do that too. And so that's the importance of growing as a leader. I'm flat going to tell you, I can see it is way harder than not being a leader. And so that's really the thing I want to get us to discuss here in this last 7 minutes, is the effort it's going to take. Anybody want to just express what they think the effort it's going to take to create that? Chad, please, and anybody else after that.
It's kind of funny because not more than an hour and a half ago, I sat my kids down on the couch and I said, you guys are aware Mommy and Daddy are building our business, right? And they said, yes. I said, well, Daddy's going to be kicking it up a notch. So if I'm working, I need you guys to get along. I can't have any bickering. I need you guys to get along and allow me to just dig in and get this stuff done. So it's go time, man. It's been 4 years, and I've been looking in patients' eyes for 16 years. And come year 9, 10 of my career, I knew there was something else I could do to help my patients out. There's something else I could do to help people out. And I'm now to a point where, I'm not going to say this 4 years was wasted, but I'm now at a point where I'm like, let's do this. I wish I had done this 4 years ago, but we are where we are in this moment, and I'm ready to just launch this thing into outer space. So it was the kids were on the couch, and they're into it. So I'm hoping their behavior is where it needs to be.
That is so awesome.
Yeah. Thank you.
Way cool. Anybody else?
Well, I'll just say real quick that reading this book has changed my paradigm big time, because no longer am I, wallowing in, I should have, been a better leader earlier. I should have, blamed this or that. Even though I always try to have a very positive attitude, but this has changed my paradigm so that I totally can envision it. I can see the steps I need to take, whether it's organization, whether it's speaking, self-development, the whole bit. It's right. It's like I feel like it is so close. It's like right there.
I've seen that change in you over the last, several months, Lorraine. Anybody else? Thank you. Derek, please.
So I've expressed this to JoJo when she checked up on me a little bit ago. But these past 3 weeks have been probably some of the biggest growth pains I've experienced in a long time. And I'm extremely grateful for them, but doesn't discredit the fact of how hard it all was. And it's amazing how when you are having this desire to show up, and I love what Dave says, he's like, when you have the desire to grow, the teacher always shows up. And over the past few weeks with constant just trying to figure out, my next step and the pain that went through that and the many tears and wall kicking moments, it's been amazing just how one thing to the next just led up to this moment here. And to have just such insane clarity from this book and moving forward with what Heather was, I totally agree. Like this just, I feel I have a huge vision for my life and what I want to do and what I want to contribute. And I know that it's what's for me. And I feel that this book has given me the tracks to run on to actually make that happen and to have that focus that I've been so desperately craving for such a long time, because for a while it's just this constant back and forth thing, and I'd get frustrated and I'd get angry, and like Lorraine was saying, I should all the shouldas and couldas and
never should on yourself ever.
Yeah, and I know that, but over the past little bit, it's just a couple of them slipped in and I caught them luckily, but no, it's just I'm extremely grateful and I'm excited because this is what I've needed, and to really I'm just forget about the past and just ready to run forward. So,
thank you. Couple more minutes. I mean, somebody said this. I think it was Chad. Do you realize the gift that we have for other people? It's like friggin' huge, and I have zero fear of talking to people now. None. Because this is all about them. Anybody else want to share along these lines?
Yeah, there's no reason to fear anything. Absolutely. No fear at all.
Yeah, you almost feel bad when we share some info with someone and they poo-poo it, or they just don't show interest. You gotta kind of feel bad for them. Granted, you're gonna put them on your calendar to follow up with them down the line, but in that moment, you're like, wow, you're not even open to asking questions. But there are people out there that are like that, and you gotta love on them and empower them. It's just the same, but you got to feel kind of bad for them because 95% of the people we talk to, if not more than that, are stuck. So
Chad, brings up a good point, and let me just kind of bring this home here for a sec. As I have experienced that, Chad, where I was at, I just went to the gym the other day, and I just brought my laptop and started talking to this guy, and I sent him some material, and he kiboshed it like immediately. And I says, I want to just chat with you for a few minutes. Okay. And we got on the phone, and his name was Frank. I go, Frank, I feel so bad for you because this is exactly what you need. And I go, don't you sense that? And he goes, I'm just afraid, and so finally I got out of him, and we're still talking now, but I didn't let him say no. And I think that's when you have that inside of you, it comes out, because why feel bad for somebody? It means that maybe you weren't passionate enough, and you didn't touch their heart enough, and that's looking in the mirror as a leader and getting to move. But yeah, not everyone's going to say yes. We know that. Okay, it's 75 minutes into the call. I am so appreciative of each of you, and it's the reading and your study that's gonna bring this home to you. And this call is just so that we can kind of share. I mean, I had a few aha nuggets. I'm appreciative of the passion that each of you show. Grateful for all of you. Next week, same time, 7 p.m. Pacific time, 75 minutes, and we're going to go over the first 3 laws of the 21 irrefutable laws. We'll do 3 laws a week for the next 7 weeks. As I've gotten into the laws, they're powerful. I don't know if any of you even started that book yet, but you're in for another eye-opener. John Maxwell's the guy about leadership, and he's a humble human being, and I'm going through some of that material that he prepared on his website, and it's just awesome. So I'm really looking forward to doing the 21 laws with each of you. So I'm going to cut the call. I'll stop the recording. The recordings will not be made available until after this is over. But I'm going to let Dave watch this because he wanted to. So I'll save it somewhere and let him watch it. Anyway, you guys rock. Have a great evening. Have a great week. Apply this in your laws. I know part of we're going to start next week is I want you to share an experience of using this exact material next week. You guys take care. Bye now.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
Okay.